Hey, it's Jang here from UltimateRC.com with a look at the Solo Pro V2. It's from 9 Eagle, and in the US you can find them for about $60 ready to fly. Around 8 inches long, this is a micro-sized fixed pitch 4-channel helicopter. Very lightweight and minimal in construction. It has a weighted flybar, single carbon fiber square tail spar, and a brushed tail motor with a movable fin that you can slide forward and reverse. Popping the canopy off, you'll see a familiar sort of configuration with the integrated PCB that has everything on it, including a 2.4 gigahertz receiver, a gyro unit, single axis gyro only for yaw, and 2 linear servos. The RTF controller is the same design that 9 Eagles has for helicopters and aircraft, where you can actually reverse it to go between mode 2 and mode 1. You actually just take out a couple screws and turn the antenna back to the other side. It hits a little button and that changes the mixing for you. There's no spring on the throttle side, and it will display the actual throttle input on the screen. Trims are digital and are also displayed. The 4 AA batteries that it requires are included, and this controller does double as a charger for the removable changeable battery that comes with the helicopter. You remove this port or battery door on the back and then just slide it right in. As soon as you turn it on, it will start to charge, and it takes about a half an hour to fully charge a fully depleted battery for about 4 minutes of flight time. The battery itself is a 120 milliamp hour single cell LiPo with 9 Eagle's proprietary design. Be sure to pay attention to the arrow. It does kind of slide in an unexpected way. Make sure that your controller is on, because as soon as you plug it in, it will fire up the gyro and you'll be ready to fly. It doesn't take long to get the Solo Pro trimmed up just properly, and once you do, it hovers pretty well in a wide open space. The controller actually has dual rates, and you can activate these or toggle between the 2 modes by just pushing down on the right stick. Now, all fixed pitch helicopters have a tendency to lean to one side just by their design, and generally the cheaper ones lean even more, but the Solo Pro actually has gotten around a lot of this by mounting the tail prop up high. You can see how the tail boom is long enough and angled up enough that they've put the motor almost in line with the main rotor. This helps to give you just a good visual reference of what the helicopter is actually doing at any given time. Even on the low rates, this helicopter has pretty good authority on all axes, but the flybar does work quite hard, and if you let off the stick, it will bring you back to level flight very quickly. But if you're trying to transition smoothly from one thing to the next, you'll find that it will fight against you. As you saw right there, it will also lose a lot of altitude if you try to pirouette without giving it a lot of extra throttle. It also doesn't quite spin around its main rotor axis. The axis of spinning is a little bit off, and it'll actually swirl a little bit, giving itself some roll input even though you didn't ask for it. Another flight quirk is that at a certain forward speed, which happens to just about match top forward speed in the low rate setting, see how it's kind of just jiggling around in the air? It gets into this resonance, and the only way to stop that is to either stop flying altogether or move up to your high rates and fly faster. In a smaller enclosed space, I found that the Solo Pro is very susceptible to being just thrown around by its own wind, its own moving air that it creates. So definitely stay far away from walls. Up close and personal, trying to give it just small inputs, I found that I couldn't. The resolution on the servos is actually pretty poor, and if you just very carefully, very slowly move your control inputs as little as you can, you'll very quickly see the steps. The very first step will actually move the craft pretty quickly in one direction or the other, so it's not very smooth around the center. I actually found it easier and more enjoyable to fly the Solo Pro on high rates, where I wasn't really focused so much on slow, steady movements, and instead just let it open up and breathe a little bit more. Summing things up, I have to look at the fact that you can get a good 3-channel helicopter for about $30. You consider that this one is $60. Honestly, I'm a little on the fence over whether I'm getting twice as much helicopter performance here, especially with all the little quirks. Then again, the next step up in performance and stability is going to take you to the $80 to $100 range. In all, I feel like the Solo Pro V2 is a decent value. Not great though. It's good for playing around with in a large open space, but if you want to get really serious about taking your next step up in RC helicopter flight, moving from beginner level 3-channel gyro stabilized helicopters on your way to full collective pitch units, I would recommend saving up your money and getting something a little bit better than this. Either way, thanks for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.